There's something about mods that capture Episode 2's style specifically that always draw my attention. If you've spent as much time with the Half-Life series as I have, you'll probably already know what I mean when I say that. Episode 2 has a pretty unique feel to it compared to the rest of Half-Life 2. I would even go so far as to say that Episode 2 takes a similar leap forward to the leap between Half-Life and Half-Life 2. At the core, the series has always remained recognizably Half-Life, from the gameplay to the world building, but Episode 2 gives us a totally new environment to explore, and that, coupled with the graphical enhancements brought on by 2007's version of the Source engine, give it a very fresh feeling. Downfall is a mod that fully capitalizes on what makes Episode 2 great and unique within Half-Life. Within this mod, you'll get to experience a variety of different combat situations which take advantage of the variety of enemies in Episode 2's arsenal. From Overwatch to zombies to acid lions, you'll have to think on your toes and quickly adapt to the foes this mod throws at you in rather quick succession. It doesn't give an overly challenging experience to seasoned veterans of the series, but it does match the difficulty of the games it's based upon. So I recommend switching to hard mode if you're looking for something a bit tougher. Environmentally, this mod is functional and beautiful. I've praised Episode 2's aesthetics a lot throughout my mod reviews, and this mod is no exception. It matches the game's eye-catching level design excellently, especially the outdoor areas which take place around White Forest. It doesn't sacrifice playability for beauty though, and strikes that perfect balance between level design that looks natural, while at the same time supporting fun and engaging combat. Other areas of this mod have less to write home about, however. My biggest issue is story, or rather lack thereof. Now, at the time of this review, the mod has been out on Steam for almost a year, and is still incomplete. I haven't seen much activity from the developer on the ModDB page either. It would be a shame if we never saw the end of this mod. But even with what we have, I think there's still a problem with how the story is set up. And by this, I mean that the story isn't set up. On the Steam or ModDB pages, we get a short snippet of plot which tells us we are supposed to be recovering a piece of advanced technology before the Combine can destroy it. If it wasn't for this out-of-game description, I would have no idea why Gordon Freeman was back to driving around White Forest. The start of the mod literally just drops you in the seat of the muscle car right off the bat and expects you to just drive. There's nothing, not a character, visual, or gameplay cue to tell us why we're driving in the first place. And it never really does. There's a brief moment where you overhear a radio broadcast with a rebel calling out that the Combine must not get their hands on the scientists' work. What scientists? And more importantly, why aren't they at White Forest Base? Shouldn't these nameless researchers who are apparently working on some pretty important Combine fighting technology be at the base where all of the former Black Mesa employees are working on similar research? Perhaps these questions have perfectly sound answers, but I have no way of knowing them because the mod doesn't show them to me. It's devoid of any meaningful plot, which ultimately makes it feel more like a fancy tech demo than anything. I worry that even if this mod does get expanded upon in the future, it will start to drag, as without any driving force behind player actions, even the best gameplay can start to feel pointless. Downfall is fun, of course. In terms of gameplay and looks, it hits the ball out of the park and could easily stand alongside Episode 2 in terms of quality. Unfortunately, the lack of a point to it all holds it back from being truly excellent. If you just want something fun that lives up to the gameplay of Episode 2, this mod will give it to you, and I'd recommend it to any fan of the series. It's only a half hour long, and that'll be a half hour well spent, but don't go in expecting any sort of continuation to Half-Life's storytelling elements. That's all for this mod review. Like and subscribe for more, but in the meantime, this is where I get off.